There's been mixed reaction to the President's State of the Nation address. Mbali Thethani is getting reaction from civil society groups in Johannesburg. She joins us live now. Mbali, great to catch up with you this morning. The ANC well pleased with the proclamation of the state of disaster. What does the rest of the country think?
Well, Hugo, of course, as we continue with the reaction this morning, of course, when we saw the State of the Nation address last night, of course, the nation did expect it to largely focus on the country's energy crisis and looking at those solutions. And we know that a state of disaster is something that government has been speaking about for quite some time now. But we have now officially seen the President declare a state of disaster specifically because of the challenges we are currently facing when it comes to electricity. And I'm going to bring in now civil society group Public Interest South Africa. Yesterday, they spoke largely saying that they didn't want to see a state of disaster being declared. Your reaction to the State of the Nation address, specifically looking at the state of disaster?
Yeah, obviously we are disappointed, Mbali, with that, because quite honestly, declaring a state of energy disaster does not in its own remove the fact that we are in a state of energy crisis, and it will not resolve the problems that we are facing with regards to energy generation and supply. And yes, the President has also appointed a dedicated minister or ministry just looking after energy. Again, we think it's just another long-established ploy to actually create more silos, or just to try and show the public that something has been done, when in actual fact we are not sure even if the energy minister will actually deal with it. Because the President hasn't said exactly what it is that the energy minister or the new ministry would bring on board that will be different to what they are currently doing, including their NICOM or something like that. So we are helpless, obviously, as civil society. We're going to have to accept what the President has decreed, but it also brings into question how the whole modalities will be introduced. Because if we go back to what the state of disaster was declared in regards to COVID, we know the problems that happened around the procurement space. And to say they will also involve the Office of the Auditor General to try and help guard the coup, it's just not enough, because we know that the Auditor General will not be involved when the decisions are being made, where the decisions will be made, or proposals for supply of energy will be made. For example, if you talk about car powership, will the Auditor General vet to see whether such a contract or a proposal is value for money? No, the Auditor General would not, because they would just say, okay, we've committed to spend 100 billion on car powership. Then there's 100 billion that has been spent, but whether we're getting value for money, it is not. Because declaring the state of energy disaster for us, I believe it's just a smokescreen, just trying to create more obfuscation than resolving the energy crisis itself.
What is your take when it comes to the prioritization, especially when it's looking at the health sector? I know that when we look at load shedding, those that have been impacted are indeed businesses, and of course those critical services we have in the country.
Again, the government could procure generators for ministers. Why can't they contract industrial-sized type of generators and implement them or deploy them in those hospitals throughout the country? Because the actual exemption is not going to help much, because communities around those hospitals will probably be drawing energy or electricity from the same transmission boxes or substations. And therefore it means more and more communities are going to not be load shed. That will still create pressure on the grid. So the energy availability factor, you're going to have to also consider the fact that now more and more people will actually be exempt from load shedding in terms of the communities around hospitals. So, but I think a solution would have been, while they were doing favors for their own ministers, they could have actually prioritized hospitals long ago, because ministers, even if they don't have energy, it's not that critical, because in any event they might just feel the same pain as we do. But it's a welcome thing at the same time that hospitals or health facilities will be exempt. But like I'm saying, I'm not sure if it's well thought through. But if it is, then certainly maybe that's the way to go. But I doubt if it will be smooth sailing.
Thank you very much. That is Tebogo Gas from Public Interest South Africa there, weighing in on the State of the Nation address, specifically looking at, of course, now being declared under a state of disaster.
Mbali, Thethani, appreciate your time this morning.